Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I would like to talk to you about the Heiken Ashi scanner. This scanner, it accepts multiple Heiken Ashi parameters and it is a multi-timeframe, multi-currency and also a multi-Heiken scanner dashboard. I will show you how to set it up in a minute. But first let me talk about how the Heiken Ashi actually works. Whenever price starts making a new trend upwards or downwards, in that case these Heiken bars, like as you can see these blue bars, these will take the average of the price and then it will create these bars. And if you are interested in learning the formula for how the Heiken Ashi is calculated, you can just go to Investopedia and take a look at this. I'll share this link in the description. So right here, this is the formula of how the open and close and high and low, how these values are calculated. Basically what this does is it gives us this smoothing effect which shows us how the price is actually doing. And the fastest, this fastest Heiken, this has a period of 5 and all of these periods, these are variable, you can set them to what you like. But in this example, this fastest Heiken, it has a period of 5. This second one, it is the medium Heiken, it has a period of 40. And finally this slowest one, it is 188. These values, they actually came from a strategy in which it looks for alignment of all of these Heiken. And once all of these align, then it can look for a buy or a sell signal. Right here, I think these are blue and these are green. So right here, this is where the alignment actually happens. But even after the alignment, it is better to wait for price to move slightly above the Heiken and wait for these high volume bars. These are good entry points for signals. But this dashboard itself, this does not provide any actual buy or sell signals. This only provides you with the Heiken Ashi signals, and it also shows you when these individual Heiken, these align, like when for this particular time frame and this pair, when these align, and then it will also check all the time frames alignment, and you can set those alerts and these kinds of highlights, and you can use this scanner with your existing Heiken Ashi strategies. So let me go over the features first. Multi-Heiken parameters. So let's see how those parameters can actually be set. Right here, you can set the comma separated values for each of these parameters. So for this very first Heiken, it will check all of these values. Then for the next Heiken, it will check all these second values. And for the third one, it will look for these third values. And Heiken period 1, suppose 5, and period 2 is 1. And method 1 and method 2, these are both 1. So 1, it means exponential moving average. Usually the default Heiken Ashi settings, then these are the values. For MA method, for 1 and 2, this Heiken Ashi is a smoothed version. For period 1 and period 2, these are the values. So if you wanted to write this for the scanner dashboard, then period 1 4, period 2 1. This is how you would write it. Period 1, period 2. So 4 and 1, and for these values it uses moving average 2. So this is the default setting which the smooth Heiken Ashi uses. I'll set this to cancel. So now you know how to set up the Heiken Ashi settings. You can look at all of the common dashboard settings right here in this link. So all of my dashboards, they have a lot of common parameters which are how to position the dash, how to use prefix in case you want multiple dashboards on the same chart, how to use the template when you click on any of the buttons, etc. And all of these are the main pairs preset. You can also set your own pair list and just specify a comma separated list right here. So just go over this page to look at how all of these common dashboard settings, and finally these are the alerts and the detailed journal logs for any debug messages. Going back, next these are the dashboard specific settings, and this one, it sets your scanner's appearance. So for all the bullish and bearish signals, you can set the colors. These info color, these are the bracket values, whatever color you like, and this bullish background and bearish background, these are when any of these boxes, these will be highlighted, it will use that color. And these are the alerts and highlight settings. Let me go over all of these alert settings first. Whenever an individual Heiken switch happens, like it could be any of these, like whenever Heiken switches from green to red or red to green, in that case you can also set those alerts. Next, you can set the alerts for when all of these Heiken for a particular time frame, when these align. And the third alignment alert you can set when all the 3 time frames align. So going back to the settings right here, if you want those individual Heiken switch alerts, set this value to true. For each time frame, if you want all of those 3 Heikens to align, you can set this to true. If you want those boxes to be highlighted, then set this value to true. Now alignment, when at least one Heiken is within these n number of bars. If you set this to 0, then it will disable this check. Otherwise, suppose if you set this to 5, then it will only highlight and alert for these alignment if at least one of these switches had happened within 5 bars. So for example, this highlight happens because this Heiken switch and this Heiken switch, all of these happened within 5 bars. So it will check at least one of these should be within 5 bars. And if the remaining 2 are like even more than 100, even then it will show you these highlights and show you the alerts. But at least one, like right here, all of these have happened within 5 bars, but over here only this one has happened within 5 bars. If you set that check to 0, then it will highlight all of these boxes. Whether it had happened within 5 bars or not, it will highlight these. And next, if you want an alert when all the time frames align, in that case you can set this value to true. And also same way, if you want a highlight when all the time frames align, this is default false, because if you set this to true, then you will get those highlights anyway. But if you do not want individual highlights, then set this to false and set this to true. Then it will only show you highlights when all these time frames and all of these Heikens within those time frames, when those align. And for these kinds of signals, it won't show you the highlights. And lastly, if you want detailed debugs in logs, you can set this to true. So the detailed debugs, these will show you why a particular signal is ignored and you are not getting any alerts for that. If that is true, then just go over these logs in this experts tab, and you will see that suppose for this particular pair, this time frame, it was showing non-alignment for this particular period, and for H4 it was also not within the alignment 5 for 5 bars, and that's why it has skipped these signals. So just go over the logs whenever you feel that an alignment alert should have happened but it's being skipped. I'll go over the example strategies in just 1 minute. So if you want to try this scanner out for 1 month, this scanner dashboard demo, it has all the features of the full version and you can set as many pairs as you like in this, but after 1 month, at the end of this month, it will work only for 3 pairs. And this sale, it is for this particular month only. So after April, this will also go back to the full price. So you can just try out the demo version right here. And if you want the individual indicators, then you can get this. And if you want high volume bars indicator, then just get this. This is a sample chart template which will give you a template like this. So if you want, whenever you click on a particular button, and if you want this template to open up in a new chart, then just put this file in your templates folder, and you can change the template to whatever settings you have. And in the scanner, you can just go to this use template for a new window and make sure that this is true. Open in a new window. If this is false, and if you click on this button, it won't open this template because it will use the same current chart. So let me press OK. And Heiken can be a bit heavy. So if you have all 28 pairs and like 3 or 4 time frames, then it could take about 4 to 5 seconds for the scanner to load. So just keep that in mind when you have multiple these Heiken values. So if you have 3 Heikens for all 28 pairs for 3 time frames, then it will need that many number of calculations. Let me open up something. So it will open this template, and as you can see, all of these are currently aligned, but price is still moving slightly below these Heiken bars, which means that the upwards trend is not strong yet. So be mindful of that. And if you go to a signal where, suppose like this, where Heiken was going on for several bars, like right here, the fastest Heiken that has just switched 2 bars back. So if you go to something like this, then you will see that the upward signal has been going on for quite some time. These values in brackets, these will also help you visualize how long a particular trend has been going. Like right here, also the trend has been going on for quite some time. And all of these, I think I have those set to false. That's why you are not getting the highlights. I'll set this to true and I'll disable this check for now. So now it will highlight all of these, and as you can see, for this particular time frame, all of these are in upwards alignment and the trend has been going on for quite some time. Heiken is mostly useful for trading on longer term trends when you know a trend is established very well. And let me now go back. So just whenever you look for signals like this, when everything is in alignment, price has gone above the Heiken, and you get a very strong high volume bar, then that is a good signal. And I would also suggest that you look for pivots or something with support and resistance, so that you know which points are best to place the stop loss and the take profits at. I'll go to the strategy first and then I'll talk about the stops. So this one is a snake blood strategy which uses 3 Heiken Ashi. And in this one, it uses the same periods 5, 40 and 188, and it also uses this particular indicator. Whenever all of these Heiken align and you get this indicator's arrow signal, that is a good time to place a trade, because this one can be used for scalping and binary options, this particular strategy. If you have been using Heiken for a while, then I'm sure you will have multiple such strategies that you could try out with this scanner dash. But the scanner itself is not a standalone strategy. It's best used with some validating indicators. The dash will refresh every new bar anyway. So if you have M30 as your lowest time frame, then set the current chart also to M30. It will always refresh every new bar. Or you can also set the refresh after ticks. In that case, it will refresh every these given number of ticks. Like let me set this to something like 50. Then every 50 ticks, this scanner will refresh. Okay, so let's go back. Right here, the slowest has just switched and it will probably switch back. And let me also put the pivots point indicator and set that to maybe 1000. Okay, so with the pivot points, whenever you see that all the Heiken, they have aligned and a high volume bar has broken over a good SR level, it could be pivot points, it could be quarter levels, or it could be something like Vibo or support resistance lines. Those kinds of indicators, they will look for these support and resistance areas, and even with pivots, price always uses these pivot levels as magnet levels and it tends to range near these pivot points. And after that, when a high volume bar, it breaks out of these pivot levels, then that is a good place to start your buy signal. And you can place the stop loss right below. If you are just scalping, then make sure to place the stop loss very close to your entry. But if you want a longer term trading, then place the stop loss right below the previous low. That is usually a good level. So as you see right here, this is the previous low, and over here, this area, this has maintained a good support, which is why placing a stop loss right here would be a good idea, so that even if price does go back down, then your loss will be just this much. It won't be significant. And with this strategy, make sure that your take profit is at least 2 to 3 times more than your stop loss and the next pivot level. That is usually a good place to place your take profit. And if you want to keep letting the trend run, then it would be a good idea to maybe take some profit right here on this level and then let price move on and move your stop loss to this level once price starts to move higher. So just look for these kinds of signals when an alignment happens and make sure that the higher Heiken, like right here, the highest Heiken, this 188 period, this has switched, which means that it won't be a very good signal because the upwards trend has not yet established. Whereas for something like this, where the slowest moving average 188, the switch had happened several bars back, which means that the trend has long been established. Or something like this, where the switch hasn't happened yet, but it shows that the trend is slowly getting stronger upwards. And these lower time frames, they haven't yet quite aligned. So these kinds of signals will be good areas where you can just wait for this kind of alignment to happen. So yeah, just take a look at this scanner dashboard page and let me know what you think in the comment section below. With Heiken scanner signals, just be careful to not use it as a standalone, because by the time a trend is established, it might have already reached really far, which is why those kinds of validating indicators like pivot points, those are very useful, and use these support resistance areas to place your stops. And as I mentioned before, Heiken Ashi can be a very heavy indicator, so when you're using all 28 pairs with multiple time frames, it will take a few seconds to load depending on your setup and how much RAM you have. So yeah, I really hope that you enjoy using this, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. And I'll keep adding more new utilities like this scanner, so it becomes easier for you to trade when combining those with your strategies. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I really hope you have an awesome trading week. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have an awesome day.